Yo, what is going on, you guys?
Wait a minute!
It's rewind time.
This will most likely be a one-time thing.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure.
That was a fucking lie.
Welcome back to the channel. Now, before I say anything else, I'd like to point out that this theory of mine is very, very out there, so you have most definitely been warned. I'm also going to be separating this video into sections throughout it. That way it is more organized, especially in comparison to the last video. Anyways, this video is centered around a new Shinju in the story of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex. As of now, there hasn't been too many hints of this happening, but recently I've been thinking about a moment from chapter 11, specifically the moment between Shikadai and Jura before Team 10 left Himawari to fight him alone. Jura took time to say to Shikadai, "Let's meet again someday." At first, I just assumed that they would cross paths again, but nothing would really come of it. But as the story has progressed forward and the Shinju's numbers have dwindled from 5 to 2, this scene could be foreshadowing a way more complex future. After learning more about Jura and what his goals are, I realized that Ikimoto didn't just include that Jura line to foreshadow a basic encounter between him and Shikadai. Shikadai impressed Jura that day by retreating and choosing the logical route of leaving Himawari behind. Instead of allowing love and emotion to interfere with his judgment, Shikadai used his instincts and intellect, something that Jura never experienced a human do as of yet, which Jura can admire since his goals are to overcome the strong emotion of love that he believes hinders humans' potential to evolve effectively. On top of this, another line Jura says to Shikadai is that he will remember his name, which is interesting because we see during the creation of the Shinju Ryu that Jura gives thought and takes pride in the names he gives to the other Shinju. Now, in my last video, I predicted that Hidari will stray from Jura thanks to Sasuke's love, internally clashing and overriding the Ten Tails' natural instincts to destroy. And because of Matsuri and Prescience, we know that the Shinju are all linked and connected to Jura, meaning he could feel what they feel, see what they see, etc. Jura feeling these intense emotions from Hidari, the only other remaining Shinju left, could begin to corrupt Jura's mind, making him crave an escape so that he could still overcome the deep love he is feeling. Now, he could hypothetically just end Hidari himself so he doesn't feel what he is feeling anymore, but I have a feeling that won't happen. Instead, I have a feeling that Jura will encounter Shikadai and Team 10 again and find another solution. Another prediction I said in my last video was Jura and Hidari having Sarada under their control because of Code, and I explained how that'll be a way for the remaining Shinju to get to and possibly kill Boruto easier. But I didn't delve too deep into the second encounter I predict could happen as a result of Boruto and Code possibly failing to retrieve Sarada from the Shinju the first time. Not only do I believe Boruto would attempt to get Sarada back a second time, but I believe other characters from Konoha, including Team 10, would as well. It fits, Konoha attempting to save the one who desires to become the Hokage, their leader. In the second encounter, Jura and Hidari will have to stop the others from taking Sarada, but I think it'll be too much for them, leading to Hidari betraying Jura and fleeing the battle with Sarada, leaving Jura by himself. At this point in time, thanks to Hidari's shifting feelings, Jura would be at his lowest point internally. He is now alone and feeling a deep emotion he desires to overcome. In this moment, Shikadai's presence could remind Jura about his own goal, and will result in Shikadai being taken by Jura as he escapes the battle. Shikadai will be taken back to the Shinju hideout where Jura and him will talk and have a very deep and complex conversation, showing not only Jura's inner turmoil, but Shikadai's high IQ and brilliance, the same as his father. Jura will finally speak with someone, something he's been trying to do for so long up to this point in the story. I feel like a disagreement could arise from their conversation once love comes up as a topic, where Jura won't be able to face the possible truth that Shikadai could bring up. As Shikadai's punishment, Jura would then have a claw grind bite him so that he could become a Shinju, cleansing Shikadai of the flaws Jura believes comes with being a human, as well as allowing Jura to return to his path of overcoming love. Similar to his cousin Shinki and his Shinju counterpart Ryu targeting his father Gaara, I believe Shikadai's target will be Shikamaru. We've kind of seen all sorts of love being flipped with each Shinju. Hidari with Sasuke's parental love, Matsuri with Moegi's romantic love, Mamushi with Bug's physical love because of Ada's charm, and Ryu with Shinki's love for a parent. But compared to the other Shinju, Ryu wasn't able to get close to his target Gaara. In fact, he was the last Shinju born and the first one gone, leaving his core themes unresolved, which gives some weight to his cousin Shikadai and his Shinju counterpart finishing Ryu's character. I thought maybe Shikadai's Shinju counterpart would go after his mother Tamari as well, and who knows, maybe there could be two targets. But for the story, it really would make sense for Shikadai's Shinju target to be Shikamaru. Another reason I predict this will happen could be somewhat of a hot take, but I've been telling my brother for the longest time that I believe Shikamaru will die in this story. He has been my favorite character in the time skip besides Hidari and maybe Jura, but it feels like his time is limited, especially with his role as Hokage being in extreme jeopardy because of the higher-ups of the Land of Fire. Shikamaru being devoured would also finally show the viewers what a Shinju's natural instinct to devour would lead to, and what the Shinju would gain, which I also feel is something that is necessary for the story, and for Jura's character too. I'd be shocked if not one Shinju would achieve their goal of devouring their target, and since most are gone, and I've predicted Hidari won't devour Sarada, Shikamaru being devoured by his son Shinju kind of falls in line with everything else I've laid out thus far. It's a really sad possibility, but I also feel like Shikadai becoming a Shinju would maybe make Shikamaru lose his trust with Koji, making him act out of love, proving Jura's point about love being a hindrance if someone as smart as Shikamaru would end up dying because of his connection with love. Anime has been a good thing to fall back on when thinking about events that could happen in TVV. One example off the top of my head is the filler arc, the Super Beast Scroll Slump, between Inojin and Himawari, where Himawari helps Inojin get his spark back for his art. What seemed like a toss-away filler arc at first is now a useful arc that foreshadowed their strong connection in Boruto TVV thus far. Another more recent moment of foreshadowing comes from the most recent chapter as of the recording of this video, chapter 34, where Koji tells Boruto to take in what it looks like to see a soul burn. Now this could be nothing, and I could be looking way too into this, but this does feel like a warning of sorts from Koji, preparing Boruto for a death of someone in the same way Bug died, only it'll be someone closer to him, his friend since the beginning of the series, Shikadai. The last moment I believe has some foreshadowing for Shikamaru's death specifically is when Kaoki is suspicious of Shikamaru back in chapter 8, I believe, after Boruto fought Mitsuki and fled just as Kaoki was arriving to Boruto's location. This could imply that Kaoki has something to do with Shikamaru's future demise. Maybe he could have even stopped Shikamaru from dying in some way, but could have found out that Shikamaru has been working secretly with Boruto this whole time, possibly finding this information out through Amado, another person Shikamaru isn't particularly fond of. Amado's inclusion doesn't end there though. He is a very mysterious character that always seems to be a million steps ahead of everybody at all times. When Amado originally fled Kara, he used Shikadai as leverage against Shikamaru and the village to get into Konoha, which doesn't just prove that Shikamaru can get emotional when his son is in danger, but could also go towards a bigger plot point involving Amado and the control he may have even over the current events he seemingly doesn't have any control over. Another connection that I believe is very ironic is Shikamaru being devoured and dying to the Ten Tails, the same fate his father Shikaku had during the Fourth Great Ninja War in Naruto. One major flaw in this theory is that honestly, it has a lot to do with Shikadai. Although I do think it would be great since developing side characters is always a plus, I do strongly think that when it comes to Jura and his progression, Kaoki and maybe even Boruto will have more of an influence on his character in the end. I would go more in depth on that, but this is a whole separate theory that I have for another video that I'm currently writing the script for, so please stay tuned for that. And that leads me to the end of the video. Thank Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this theory. I know it's like really like extremely out there, but I couldn't help but make this video on it after thinking about it. And hey, I'm also all for another Shinju being added to the story. After all, my favorite character, Hidari, is a Shinju. But anyways, let me know what you all think of my theory in the comments below, and please feel free to implement your own thoughts into this theory, or better yet, write a theory of your own that you have down in the comments below as well. I'd also very much appreciate you all giving this video a like, and maybe even consider subscribing to the channel. It would be super appreciated. Thank you all again, and make sure you look out for the next Boruto theory video that I put out. Bye guys.